Otherwise, the senses of a person who has not surrendered to Krishna or to his pure devotee can never be controlled. It will always be uncontrolled, and the lust and greed of the senses will eventually make the person fall down. Therefore, we should not get carried away by the false propaganda of the media, and especially nowadays there is social media. In the media they prop up some third party. They prop up some big businessman or some big politician or somebody like that. And there is an editor or a journalist who writes about that guy and glorifies him and props him up and makes him very popular amongst the people. But in social media, what happens is everybody is glorifying himself and propping himself up as a very wonderful person. So social media has become a very wonderful platform for self-glorification. And we can see how so many people are getting cheated by other people who are posing to be very good people and all that. This has become very common nowadays. That's why they say social media is a breeding ground of all fake news. All wrong news is for propagation very easy on the social media. So we should not get carried away by all this social media, the print media, the electronic media, what they are glorifying other people and all that. You have to understand these are all temporary things. Eventually, one day will come when the same media will start, they will start blasting that very person they were glorifying, and they will turn around. And people have very short memories. 2013, what was the kind of glorification Chanda Kochar and Chitra Ramakrishna received? Nobody remembers. They only see today. What is there today? Chanda Kochar and Chitra Ramakrishna, nobody talks about it. They are all discarded people. 2022, there is another list of people in Forbes. Everybody will be talking about them. See, these people, they have got on the Forbes list, you heard? Oh, so wonderful. Really, they are, you should appreciate them and all that. 5 years, 9 years down the line, same people will, forget what their achievements were, and they will talk about their fall downs only. So one should not be carried away by all this false glorification. These are all. On the other hand, what should one do? Because that propensity for glorification is there. That cannot be taken away. As Prabhupada is mentioning, without these principles of life, no one can exist. No one can exist. Everybody has to engage in these 4 principles. What are those principles? Glorifying, hearing, remembering, worshipping. Nobody can escape from this. Everybody is engaged in this activity. Glorifying, hearing, remembering, and worshipping. So, if you are glorifying, hearing, remembering, and worshipping of an ordinary person through various India Today magazine and Forbes magazine and all these kind of things, if Fortune, magazine, all these kind of things, if it is ultimately going to end in frustration, then what to do? You cannot stop this activity. So therefore, Bhagavatam is saying, Tasma, therefore, ekena manasa, if you don't want to get misled, if you don't want to get cheated, if you don't want to get frustrated with all these people who get glorified, they get elevated to a very high spot, and then from there they fall down. Elevation, fall down, constantly going on. So if you don't want to get frustrated by this, Tasmad ekena manasa, with a single pointed attention, what should you do? Whom should you glorify, hear, remember and worship? Bhagavan Satvatam Patihi. Shotavyaha Kirtitavyascha Jeyaha Pudyascha Nityada. These 4 activities, Shotavyaha, to hear about, Kirtitavyaha, to glorify, Dhyeyaha, to remember, and Pujyaha, to worship. These 4 activities have to be dedicated only to Bhagavan Satvatam Patihi, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is the dearmost Lord and Master of the devotees, who is none other than Krishna. By glorifying Krishna, by remembering Him, by worshipping Him, and by hearing about Him, what happens is, we ourselves become purified, and we also attain a similar pure nature like Krishna, and we also will become glorified. those who glorify Krishna themselves become glorified. This is the reality. So therefore, we should concentrate all our propensities of hearing, remembering, worshipping, and glorifying, instead of directing it towards material personalities who are all seated on the chariot of the mind, being carried away by all the concocted desires of the mind. Instead of that, one should focus on these propensities on the Supreme Lord Krishna.